This is a download from Channel 4. To find out more, go to channel4radio.com.
Previously on Lost.
2 players, 2 sides. One is light, one is dark. Do you want to know a secret? What if everything that happened here happened for a reason?
We can't live together. We're gonna die alone.
I thought I heard whispering.
We're not the only people on this island, and we all know it.
We have only 3 choices. Run, hide, or die.
Do you think we're being punished?
Every 108 minutes, the button must be pushed.
Guys, where are we?
It's 60 days after the crash. Welcome, fellow Losties, to UK Lost from Channel 4 Radio. I'm Ian Lee, and as ever, we're down our hatch of Lost fanaticism with our fingers on the freeze frame button as we discuss this week's episode. Over the next half an hour, we'll be scrutinising episode 18, Dave. And at last, we find out why our lovable, stay-puffed friend Hurley just hasn't been losing any weight on the island. We'll also be analysing your latest Lost theories. We'll be looking at some Lost links online, and there'll be another chance for you to get your hands on some exclusive Lost goodies. So open a large jar of Dharma peanut butter and stuff a handful in your mouth as we bring you the official download radio show for Lost fans, UK Lost from Channel 4 Radio. Last week we were sent an excellent Lost theory, more of a thesis really, by Naughty Tin, which contained the text, "I think there is something well sus about Libby." So we tracked him down and Naughty Tin joins us in the hatch today. Hello.
Hi, Ian.
I'm also joined by the editor of the official Lost magazine, Paul. Paul, always good to have you here. Although you didn't bring us any free stuff today, so not quite as good.
Well, I'll make up for it next week.
This week's question, Paul, we'll start with you. If the hatch were to have another secret room, what would you put in there?
I would put in there something for Saeed, because he's rocking it at the moment.
Yeah.
It would be great if Saeed went around the corridor and found a full-on torture room, something like out of Saw.
Ooh.
You know, because it would freak everybody out and think, well, hang on, I thought Dharma was all about lovely, namaste, hippies,
That's
and
very
then
macabre.
full on. Well, yeah, but, you know, it has this very dark side to it, so I think that would spin everybody out. That'd be cool.
Naughty Tin, your first time down the hatch. Thank you for joining us. What would you put in the hatch on the show if they were to find another secret room?
Well, I'm kind of hoping they're going to find a stash of porn in a room. Big screen TV or something like that. Because if not, there's always going to be, supposedly, there's supposed to be 2 people in the hatch at a time. And they're in there for a long time.
Where the hell are
So
you
I'm
going?
guessing
Yes,
it's going to be a man and a woman, because, you know, the Dharmas, they do like the babies, don't they?
They do like the babies, don't they, the Dharma? There's no... Yes, well, maybe we'll find out what was going on in the hatch later in the series, or Series 3, Series 4, who knows? Anyway, we have just been watching episode 18, but before we get stuck into analysing it, here's a run-through of this week's exciting revelations. Hurley reveals to Libby that he's been hoarding food from the hatch. She encourages him to throw it all away, and a fun food fight occurs, followed by a sensitive, almost kiss moment between the two of them, which is ruined by Jin running through the woods. Jin takes them to the parachute drop where more food is being shared out, and Hurley is nominated to issue it. He refuses. Then in the jungle, Hurley sees a man in a dressing gown. Dave, is he an illusion? Hurley finds Dave's slipper, and the slipper is real. In flashback, we see Hurley in an institution.
Hugo, you've been in here almost 2 months now. Don't you think it's time to start getting our hands dirty? Okay, why don't we talk about the little homework assignment that I gave you?
I was never really good at homework.
Yeah, you remember what you're supposed to do? Just make a list of things that you like about yourself?
Well, nobody else did it.
Nobody else? Meaning?
Well, Dave didn't do it. He said it was a stupid idea.
Well, you know, I'm not Dave's doctor, but we have talked about how he can be a very negative influence.
Dave's the most normal person in this place, man.
But he doesn't want you to change, does he?
Back on the island, Saeed is interrogating the fake Henry Gale. He asks how many of the others are on the island and accuses him of murdering the real Henry Gale. Saeed draws a gun on fake Henry and counts to 3 before he shoots, but Ana Lucia steps in. Would Saeed really have shot him? Mr. Echo is building something in the jungle. He enlists the help of Charlie. Hurley is alone when he finds a box of Dharma Initiative fish crackers. He scoffs them down and turns to see Dave once again. He says to Dave, "You aren't here." Not in that voice, though. Dave throws a coconut which hits Hurley in the chest. Back in the institution, Hurley and Dave are sitting with Lenny, who is repeating the numbers over and over and over and over and over.
Hey, Hugo. Here's your meds.
Thank you, Nurse Lazenby.
Dude, you want to get out of here with me? Don't take the horse tranquilizer.
What do you mean, get out of here?
I mean, escape, man. Me and you, ASAP. They're getting to you, dude. We gotta split.
On the island, Hurley goes to Sawyer for his help and asks for clonazepam, saying he's been seeing things. Sawyer takes the mick. Hurley snaps, giving Sawyer the punch-up he deserves. After the attack, Sawyer calls Hurley crazy. "I'm not crazy," he replies. Again, not in that voice. Hurley is so upset over the trouble that he decides to leave the camp and return to the now empty caves. On his journey, Dave appears again. In flashback, Hurley is having another session with Dr. Brooks. As he's writing a list of things he likes about himself, an accident is brought up. It's revealed that Hurley walked onto an overloaded deck and it collapsed, causing the accidental death of 2 people. Then Dr. Brooks drops the bombshell.
I'm going to show you something. It may upset you. This is the photo that I took for the bulletin board. Dave isn't your friend, Hugo, because Dave doesn't exist.
That night in the institution, Dave convinces Hurley that he is real and that they should escape together. During their escape, Hurley suddenly decides to stay and says bye to Dave, closing the window on him. Back on the island, Dave tells Hurley that since that night, everything, winning the lottery, crashing on the island, the hatch, everyone else on the island, and even being let out of hospital, is all in his mind.
It's hard, I know, but all this, you, me, this island, that peanut butter, none of it's real, man. None of it's happening. It's all in your head, my friend. The second you closed that window, your brain popped a gasket. You went back into your little coma thing. And that's where you are right this very second, in your own private Idaho, inside Santa Rosa.
Hurley follows Dave to a cliff edge. Dave tries to encourage Hurley to jump off the cliff, promising him that it will bring him back to the real world. And then Dave jumps. Down the hatch, Locke finally confronts fake Henry. Henry confesses he did not push the button after he crawled through the vents during lockdown. He also reveals that nothing happened as a result. Locke is left dumbfounded and confused. Back at the cliff edge, Libby appears and manages to convince Hurley that everything is real. She even kisses him to prove it.
Hurley, look at me. I am real. You're real. The way I feel about you, that's real.
And the episode ends back at the Institute as we see another patient staring at Hurley, the image of a psychotic, doped-up brunette. It's Libby, ladies and gentlemen! Hey, trivia fans, this is the first episode to end with a flashback sequence.
Really?
Apparently
I didn't know that.
Naughty Sin, does this confirm your theory that Libby is well sus?
Yeah, definitely. I still don't really know what to think. It hasn't added anything, apart from confirmed that she's dodgy.
We don't know her surname, do we? It's never mentioned, not appeared in the flashback. We still know very little about her.
She's one of these characters that I think that is a pivotal scene, obviously, the final sequence, but is that going to be addressed or developed as the show moves on? We shall see.
We've been led to believe, Paul, that she's a clinical psychologist.
Yeah, which maybe she trained to do that after being inside the... Maybe.
They let nutters do that, don't they?
She clearly was. She got
better.
Sorry,
not nutters, mentally ill people. Sorry, my apologies.
Well, yeah, she seems to be in a different mental state now on the island than when she was at the end of that episode, but there's a time frame thing as well. We're trying to work out when was that? When was the whole Dave thing back in the Institute? When was Libby a brunette? And so there's a little bit of confusion as to how long ago that was.
What do you think, Nottie? Do you think that she is a clinical psychologist, or is she just a patient that's picked up some of the lingo?
Yeah, definitely. I think she said she was a clinical psychologist, kind of as a backup in case in the future episodes, Hurley sussed out that he knew her from somewhere. She's like, oh yeah, I was one of the doctors there.
No, she did know some first aid though. You know, in the bit with she reset the guy's leg.
Well,
she seemed very
pulled a broken leg. I've always wanted to do that. Actually.
Yeah,
the foot's facing the other way. I'm not convinced that she's got any medical knowledge at all. I think she's just picked stuff up.
Well, if that's true, that's brilliant. It means that she's completely playing a character in a way on the island with everybody, and they've all apart from Naughty Tin, they've all been completely hoodwinked by it. There is the bit before,
just after she's kissed Hurley and walked him away from the edge of the cliff, and just before it goes into flashback, you see her looking looking anxious.
Yeah, like he's getting ever closer to the truth, which is interesting because then you see the flashback sequence. So here's the thing, I've just thought of this now. The flashback thing, whose viewpoint was that from? Nobody's or Libby's. Do you know what I mean? This is the first time flashback hasn't dissolved from someone looking off into the distance. Just thought that.
Yeah. Well,
it's completely self-contained, isn't it? Hurley didn't look into the sky and then go flashback, and nor did Libby. So that
it was entirely for our benefit.
Yeah. But that's brand new, isn't it?
She does look down. She does look anxious and look down. Maybe are we entering her?
Maybe yes.
Yeah,
so there's they've never done that either. Have they sort of ended with a different character flashback. So cool.
We do hear in an episode a while ago that Hurley recognises her.
Yeah,
and she says, "Oh, you trod on my foot, you blooming fat fool."
But I think that was too much information. I don't think she was on that flight.
What?
Yeah.
What? Sorry, hang on.
Yeah, she's like, oh yeah, I was on the plane, and then you had all those headphones, and you're all sweaty, and then you trod on my foot as you're going on the plane I was on.
This is insane.
Too much information for me. I saw you on the plane, that would have done.
You're saying, of course, if you're going to tell a lie, ladies and gentlemen, maybe, for example, if you're bunking off work or something, come up with a clever lie, but a basic one. Don't fill it with too much fact.
That's right.
So you don't think she was on the plane?
No.
How did she get on the island?
I don't know about that. I'm a little bit suspicious about this Santa Rosa place. You know how Dharma like to label everything Dharma fish, crackers, or whatever? Santa Rosa seemed to have like a little bit of a similar fad. Like the camera the Doctor had, he's labelled that Santa Rosa. Maybe they've got the same
We'll come back to Santa Rosa in a minute, because it is interesting, the whole potential, stuff that's going on there. You think she was on the plane, Paul? Give me the voice of reason, for God's
seriously,
sakes.
Yeah, well, we saw in the other 48 Days episode that she comes out of the ocean with everybody else, and, she's wet from the ocean rather than Goodwin, who wasn't. So, unless, are you thinking she's some kind of, psychotic mermaid or something, or,
No, I just think she's a little bit smarter
she's
than
well
the others.
sus. She's just well sus.
She says that Hurley stood on her foot.
Yeah.
But Hurley was the last person on the plane, is that...
Well, no, that's what she says is true, because he does charge down the corridor, doesn't he, all sweaty and treads on a few people's feet, so that would scan, but... Yeah, no, I think she was on the plane. She was on the plane, surely. Okay. Come on.
What about that other guy, the one who keeps repeating the numbers? Do you reckon he's like an ex-vet of the island? He was once there.
Oh, I want to see more about Leonard. Yeah, I want to see more about that guy. Yeah. There's been a couple of moments about him, but he's. I want to see him before he went, schizo.
Well, I think this is possibly where Series 3 is going to go. Is that we're going to see flashbacks of people who aren't on the island.
That'd be wicked.
People
that'd be really
in
cool.
the flashbacks of people that are in the flashbacks.
Yeah, but
hey man, it's blowing my mind already. Libby and Hurley destroy the food. That's
what
a bit
waste.
Well, that's a bit selfish, isn't it?
Exactly.
What about the other people on the island?
Would have been funny if Jin turned up and then just went in Korean and said, "What the hell are you doing? I'm starving. I haven't caught fish for days. There's some cornflakes and peanut butter."
There is, of course, the potential that, going back to the flashback, that the brunette in the Institute isn't Libby.
Could be her twin.
Her bad twin.
Hey,
you got it.
Come on. There we go.
Clever.
Bad twin. That's it.
Because there is, I think this is something that's going to come up either later in this series or in Series 3. The whole twin / clone type thing is going to come up.
I'm loving that. I'm running with that now, seriously. I think that she was a clinical psychologist and she was remembering her sister who she helped treat in the Institute. That's my new one.
Is the island an illusion in Hurley's head? Let's ask that question. Let's get that out. That's what Dave is saying. It's all that Hurley is in some kind of coma and everything is imaginary.
What's interesting is that this has been a theory that the fans have bantered around online and stuff. So I think that in a way the writers feel like they've addressed something. So they've almost poo-pooed that and said, let's do an episode that takes your theory on board but then says, no, it's not what it is.
How does it... Okay, it says no because Libby says it isn't.
It wouldn't work, would it? There's too many character viewpoints that we see stuff from. It can't all be from Hurley's mind.
It could be.
Well, no.
It could. I can convince you that it could potentially be.
I'm ready.
You know the bit when she says, "Oh, it can't be like in your mind and stuff because I'm going to give you a big kiss."
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
Have you never had a dream where you say to a girl, "Oh, this is a dream," and she says, "No, it's not, because I'm going to give you a big kiss," and she kisses you, and you think, "Oh no, this is real." Have you never had that?
Several.
Naughty.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I've had that. You know, you fancy a girl, you kiss, and you think, "Oh, it's real," and then you wake up and you go, "Oh man, I've been tricked." So it potentially That kiss doesn't prove anything.
No, but I think the character viewpoints don't work. Like if the show was about Hurley and Libby and a few other people all around each other all the time, but you see too much going on from different distances and people going off and doing their own adventures, that can't be in Hurley's
You never
head.
dream about other people.
Well, you're kind of there, aren't you, sometimes? Or most of the time you're there. But this is becoming a dreamscape analysis with Iain Lee.
Yeah, it was a little bit disappointing if it is just...
That's why I'm telling myself over and over again, like Leonard, that it cannot be all in someone's head. That would be mad.
It would just suck ass, really, wouldn't it?
Is Hurley just mental?
Well, I'm not so sure. You know this thing of, all these other people, you can have imagined all them. So we trust that this Dave guy is a figment of his imagination, because you only see him with Hurley, and, he doesn't touch the basketball when they're playing the game or whatever.
Oh, he doesn't, does he? Well spotted, yes.
No. However, he's there in the room and he's doing stuff when Hurley's asleep. So how is he remembering that?
It's confusing, isn't it? I don't know if it crosses too many lines, this episode, and raises questions that Lost itself can't answer. I suspect, in the great scheme of things, this episode may become a slight embarrassment for them.
Well, we were talking about the whole thing about the shoe. If the shoe had ended up being real all along, which it suggested that at the beginning of the episode, the shoe was real, because he prodded it, didn't he? And Hurley goes, oh, God. And then the coconut hitting him. It would be quite interesting.
We'll come on to that. We'll come on to that a bit later on. We'll analyse Dave himself in a bit. Interestingly, Hurley's killed 2 people, which is great. Not great, obviously. That's bad. But he nearly everyone on the island has killed someone.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Kate, Jack, Sawyer. I wouldn't be surprised if Locke's murdered someone.
Well, no, we don't know about how he got into his wheelchair, so maybe that was an accident.
So a lot of people have murdered on this island.
And I think Hurley should be held to blame. It's his own fault for being a greedy guts. He wasn't so fat, it wouldn't happen.
Though the thing that he went on, it was meant to hold 8 people.
There were 23.
23.
Two numbers.
Oh, well spotted. And of course, what was the picture behind Hurley in the doctor's office? Fingers on buzzers.
The picture, that was of an island.
It was of an island.
Oh, nice.
It was of a big tropical island. The camera starts off in it in one shot, and
yeah, the frame is actually of the same style of the picture of the foresty thing inside the hatch.
Wow,
that's just a little
that was a very
maybe
good
that's accidental.
Okay, listen, I've got a quote from the Hanso Foundation Mental Health Appeal, which I believe this has been tracked down off the internet. This is quite a long one, so bear with me. It's always been the steadfast belief of Alvar Hanso that the mentally ill must be given every opportunity to not only heal, but to realise the potential robbed of them by their sickness. Every day, thousands of potentially productive minds are crippled by terrible diseases. The Hanso Foundation is committed to restoring these tragic losses. Bit creepy, this, isn't it? The Hanso Foundation's Mental Health Appeal is a world-spanning system of clinics seeking revolutionary new treatments. It is nothing short of a crusade to rid us all of the spectre of debilitating illnesses that truly hold hostage the human race's drive for a better future. From gene therapies to radical pharmaceutical treatments, I mean, it's like hardcore drugs, and the cutting edge in both surgery and psychotherapy, the Hanso Foundation's Mental Health Appeal is moving forward to fulfill Alvar Hanso's ambitious mandate, the complete eradication of all mental illness by the end of the century.
Blimey.
That's a bit creepy, isn't it? This is from one of the Hanso website things that are up and about. Now, you were talking about, Nottie, talking about the Santa Rose Mental Institute earlier on. Do you think it's possibly supported by the Hanso Foundation?
Yeah, I'll definitely go along with that. I think that's going to be a good tie-in.
I like that, yeah. That's
got me
a
excited.
nice idea.
It's got to be some connection. The fact that Hurley's in there, that Libby's in there, that the numbers are in there. That's it would be great to know where Leonard's got those numbers from. It's possible, I suppose, that Libby's in the Institute spying on Hurley.
See, I'm loving this. I hadn't thought about any of this. I think the whole Libby brunette thing is massive now.
Yeah.
I think I thought originally, it's showing that she was a little bit crazy years ago. No, I'll scrap that. There's about 1,000 other theories now, I think.
She's good at doing the crazy, doped-up look, isn't she?
It's great.
Like just quivering away and her eyes are going off into space. If Libby is innocent, could it be that Hurley and Libby are both test cases for the Hanso? There's got to be a connection with Hanso, isn't there? They've got to be,
definitely.
Yeah,
like I said before, I think that's been going on a while, and the nutter with all the numbers, he's an ex-vet of the island.
Oh, you're thinking Leonard has been on the island?
Yeah, he's done his time. He's been sent off.
Yeah,
he's clocked his hatch moment. Yeah,
that's right. He's just gone back to retire, and
this could mean the lottery was fixed. So the Hurley, when you put the numbers in, the lottery was fixed. Hurley won the money. Blah blah blah. So
that's possible.
Yeah. But then, the power is far-reaching, ridiculously, isn't it?
I think the power of the Hanso Foundation is bigger than we can begin to comprehend.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised to find out that Leonard is that the chap's name?
Yes.
That he's got psychic powers, because here's a little geek fact.
Oh, here we go. Yes, we like the geek facts.
The pad has come out.
If you look at the game of Connect 4 they're playing...
Wow.
If you've
drawn... Can I just say, he's drawn a map of the Connect 4 game that was in this episode. He's drawn it here, I can
I
see
just say, I'm now quite frightened.
Yeah.
If
I'm
you
actually sitting
remove-
over here.
If you take Hurley's last move, which there's only like 5 possible moves it can be, because he was the blue,
Yeah.
there's no way he should have lost that game. Someone has tweaked him, said, oh, yeah, put it in that one.
You're saying that Hurley was manipulated to lose the game, or was forced to lose the game by someone?
I think he was manipulated to lose that game by Leonard. I reckon Leonard's indestructible at that game. You play him, he twists
I
your
reckon
mind.
Leonard is indestructible. I think he's a superpowered
Leonard's one,
human
yeah.
being. Yeah.
Further evidence, in this episode that the Lost Island is some kind of quarantine zone or a place for treatment. I think.
Yeah,
Adds
definitely.
A bit of credence to that.
Well, all the Henry stuff that he says is really scary. When he says, even God doesn't know where this island is or can't see the island.
There is some great Henry Gale stuff in this episode. We'll talk about a bit later on. Still to come, your latest Lost theories. We'll take a look online at some Lost links and bring you a sneak preview of episode 19. But here's this week's competition question. 3 people will win Lost goodie bags. One of those will go into the draw to win the big bunker of exclusive Lost prizes, including a subscription to the official Lost magazine. Thank you very much for that. A signed photo of the cast. Oh, that'll be good, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes.
A copy of Bad Twin signed by Lost co-creator Damon Lindelof. The question is, Hurley finds a packet of Dharma Initiative crackers. But what type are they? Is it A, prawn, B, chocolate, or C, fish? You can call 09011 111 080. Leave your answer, your name and your telephone number. Calls cost 25p a minute. Or you can text the word LOST, then your answer to 83188. Each text costs 25p. This is the official download radio show for Lost fans, UK Lost from Channel 4 Radio. And we're down the hatch with Notty Tin and Paul. Thanks for subscribing to the show if you're new to us through iTunes, doing quite well in the chart, apparently.
Cool.
Let's talk about Dave. The episode's called Dave. He's pops up. This is so confusing. Let's ask the question. Was Dave on the plane?
No, I can't get with that. I can't get behind that.
He has to be an illusion. And we've seen illusions on the island before with things like Jack's dad wandering around, so it's not unusual for people to see things.
I think it is an extension of that. It's a story device which they've shown us time and time again, but I think that the fans watching it might have treated this differently because knowing Hurley was in an institute, there's kind of almost throws the audience through a completely different loop. But I think I agree with you, it's the same kind of thing. We've seen Christian Shepherd, we've seen other things. Other visions on the island, lots of things.
Well remembered. We mentioned this briefly. Dave throws a coconut at Hurley. How can Dave throw physical objects if he's a figment of imaginationary things?
This comes back and ties in with your computer brain theory. Maybe I'll come back to that later, how the plane crashed safely. I think that the island does have the ability to move the physical objects as well, if someone wills it so. Like a telekinesis, if you like.
Okay. Yeah.
If someone else was watching, they'd see that coconut move by itself. But Hurley's projecting.
Hurley fills in the blanks.
Yeah, that's right.
Sees
Hurley
Dave.
wills it to move by seeing Dave pick it up.
Dave says dude a lot and uses Spanish words in the hospital, which is, what Hurley does.
Yeah, sounds like his inner voice.
It's a confusing episode, this, because if you take it literally, then it sends the whole series skew-whiff. But if he was just a figment of Hurley's imagination, it's just a filler episode, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd like to believe he's not. I think he's a gay, chubby chaser. He's always piling on the food for Hurley, isn't he? He likes big boys.
Let's be honest, Libby would not be interested in Hurley.
Well, come on.
Maybe she sees a thin man.
There's a thin man trying to get out of Hurley.
I think
there's about 20 of them.
If the episode was all in Hurley's mind and we just literally watched a mental episode, he'd have one. Excuse the pun, but it's like that would be not that interesting. But I think it's more interesting to think that how the episode ends, as in on a cliff top and Dave jumping off.
Yeah.
So if there is kind of a projection thing going on, maybe they were trying to get Hurley to kill himself. But then why do that?
Because there are visions of people on the island. Jack's dad, Echo.
Oh, Jack's dad did the same thing. Jack's dad jumped off a cliff.
Did he?
Jack, yeah.
Oh.
No, he didn't jump off a cliff. Jack was running after his dad through the forest and ended up flying off a cliff and then clinging on. Then Locke pulled him up. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
There's a similarity there.
There is the chance, of course, that Dr. Brooks photoshopped the Polaroid picture.
Possibly.
You're not buying that.
I'm not buying it. No. Even though he's the dude from X-Men, I didn't trust him.
If the Institute is connected with Dharma, that whole thing, then Brooks must work for them. Surely he must be on the
I do
payroll.
like that.
Yeah.
Not his idea of that. I do like that a lot. I think that if we find out that's an extension of Hanzo / Dharma, then that's awesome.
Here's something I spotted as well. That
Go for your life, Notty.
photo of Hurley for the notice board or whatever.
Yes.
Why was it in a little file then, paperclipped safely as if it was going to go somewhere? And it was facing the opposite direction to where you sit, as if someone was sat across the desk reading Hurley's file.
Maybe he's just popped in he's been out to the mall.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah,
he's taken his keys off. He's put the file down. He's put it down, and he was going to read it
No,
later.
I think he was going to say, all right, Alfred, Hanzo, whatever, check out this guy, he's a bit of a mental. I think he'd do well for our research on the old island.
On the old island?
Yeah.
I've found one for you, Al. I'll have this. The picture, the celery moves, apparently. I didn't really spot that. I've been given that as a piece of information that's important, that the celery is in a different position to when the photograph is taken.
I've always said never trust celery.
Hurley and Leonard are playing Connect 4. 4 is one of the numbers.
Indeed.
In Connect 4 there are 42 counters.
I didn't know that.
42
That's
is
good.
one of the numbers.
That's
It all links up. This is the thing. Is that a coincidence, or is that a genuine fact?
No, it must be. Come on.
I think it's just a coincidence.
You think it's coincidence?
Yeah. Well, there's only so many numbers, isn't there?
Well, maybe they got the numbers from when they were playing Connect 4 in the writers' room.
And as we mentioned earlier on, let's just to put the full stop on the numbers. When Brooks is talking to Hurley about the accident, he says the porch had 23 people on it, built to hold 8. There's the two numbers. 23 minus 8, 15. Another one of the numbers. Thank you very much. Good night.
Death move.
There's a lot of fake Henry in this episode, which is great. Not as much as I'd have liked to have seen after last week's revelations that he's not the real Henry Gale, but there's still some good stuff. And fake Henry says to Locke, God doesn't know how long we've been here, John. He can't see this island any better than the rest of the world can. That implies he knows that the island is hidden. What is hiding the island, do we think? Is it some kind of magnetic force field?
Yeah, I think it's something to do with this magnetic anomaly. I mean, that suggests to me it's not natural, because otherwise how would they found the island in the first place? Apart from by accident, and then, they're stuck on it.
But it's a pretty big confession from Henry, isn't it, to Locke to just state that, rather than just being all secretive.
I don't believe a word Henry Gale says. When he says he didn't push the button...
He's a bit of a scrot.
I don't believe that at all.
Like
I don't believe that at all.
I think he did push the button, and for some reason... he's trying to encourage them not to push the button, but I don't know what that would be.
He's messing.
Completely agree.
He's messing big time. And it was really great kind of crucifixion imagery, wasn't it?
That was great,
really
that shot,
awesome.
wasn't it?
Yeah, he was all hanging there all...
When Saeed is torturing him, what does he say about, the guy with the beard, he's nothing. I can't tell you anything because the big boss is going to do something bad to me.
Yeah, but like you said, not trusting anything he says, I think that, again, is a little...
Really?
Is a fake, did I just mention him? Yeah, he's playing with them. He's totally playing...
I read it as in that scene he was genuinely giving them facts because he looks knackered, he looks terrified, he's crucified. That's not a good position to be in. So I read it, and again, I'm probably wrong. In that scene, he's telling the truth. When he's speaking to Locke, he's talking nonsense. What do you think?
I think he's a complete wind-up merchant. He's been almost deliberately put in there.
He's a genius. He's an evil genius.
Yeah, I think you're right. He pressed that button because they had it all too cosy. There was loads of them. They had a little system. That button was always going to get pushed until they died.
Locke looks like he's beginning to get sucked in to Henry Gale.
Completely.
The fake Gale. He looks like he's leaving Jack and, the people on the island and getting sucked into what Gale is banging on about.
Poor Locke. He's got his leg situation back, and he's freaking out a bit. And Jack was mean in this episode because Locke's shouting out what's going on and doesn't even know if anyone's been shot, and Jack just goes, I've got it covered.
I've got it covered, John.
It's like, yeah, John. It's like, come on, tell him no one's died, for crying out loud.
I think the next few episodes, Locke's character is going to change quite dramatically.
Locke is the man.
Potentially going to the dark side.
I would love
like that idea.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cracking if Locke joined the others? Just said, do you know what? I think you guys are right, and these losers, the survivors, are wrong.
Yeah. You're playing with my mind now. God,
it's an interesting... Again, that's another great thing with this, is you can go run off in so many directions and kind of just imagine what would happen, and I could see that making perfect sense.
And he's been spurned a lot by his mates recently. He's not feeling the love.
Yeah. Okay, listen, it's time for a new part of the show where we'll guide you to some of the best lost links online. And this week we'd like to point you in the direction of the following. Whatislost.com is an official Lost site. If you can work out the password, it claims to have some secret video footage. We've been trying to crack that one all week down the UK Lost hatch, so let us know if you get in. We got 7 of the 8. Also, take a look at retrieversoftruth.com. Retrieversoftruth.com. It's a site supported by the Hanso Foundation, which claims to document the mental mastery of the yellow Labrador Retriever. It's a genius site, I think. And finally, try Weebles, WEEBLS-stuff.com/tunes/lost.
Since the dawn of time, man has been curious, imagining all that is possible. The Hanso Foundation, reaching out to a better tomorrow.
Discover the experience for yourself. Go to thehansofoundation.org.
This is UK Lost from Channel 4 Radio. I'm Iain Lee. I'm with Notty Tin and Paul down the hatch. Now, have you seen our message board yet? It's at channel4radio.com/forum, and it's where you can comment on the show and see our leaderboard of Lost theories. You can mail your theories to us at uklost@channel4.com, just like these folks did. We've got 2 theories this week because, to be honest, some of the ones we were getting were just so out there.
Wow.
We've picked the 2 best.
It's difficult when you've set the mark, isn't it?
Notty Tin, of course, you know, the master at writing the theories, and hopefully you'll expand on it at some point for us. OK, theory 1 is the Journey to the Centre of the Earth theory by Captain Stew. Dear Iain Lee and guys, that's nice, in the respect I finally deserve. The fact that the island is on exactly the opposite point on the Earth as Nigeria is no coincidence. Is that true?
Is what?
Did we know that?
Well,
justify yourself.
But we don't know where the island is,
Okay.
so that's not really bad start.
There is, in fact, a giant tunnel going all the way through the Earth. The hatch is a kind of gateway to this giant tunnel, but it's blocked by concrete. Some scientists working for the Dharma Initiative have indeed been making trips to the centre of the Earth for experimentation, but they had to stop and concrete over due to some kind of incident. Call me crazy, but it's true. That's why there is electromagnetic disturbance on the island, and the monster is a result of this. The poles are getting confused and causing aggro at either end of the giant tunnel. Yes, you heard me right. Either end, which means there's another hatch in Nigeria and probably a similar kind of compound as the island with monsters, others, and super brain computers. You see. I think Mr. Echo must know something about it, and maybe the drug plane didn't fly to the South Pacific over land, but it was sucked into the giant tunnel and spat out on the island. Yours lostfully, Captain Stew. Notty, I'll let you go first. What do you reckon to that?
I'm shocked, really, that
I can see the shock on your face.
Can coherently write sentences, yet it's such garbage.
It's all nonsense, isn't it?
I'm actually a little bit offended that our country has produced someone who has got no concept of what's in the middle of the earth or something, you know, and the magnetic pole's got a bit confused. As if we've got personalities now.
We all know what's in the middle of the earth. A big winged beast that flaps.
It's Q that
Everyone knows that, don't they? Paul, what do you reckon?
I think Captain Stew has maybe been on the old rum a bit too much. And
I do like the idea, in his defence, because he says nice things about me, that there is possibly another island.
Well, yeah, but the crux of it was there's a tunnel, like a sort of.
I think he's got no imagination.
Well, let's move to theory 2, the time travel theory by Lobotica. Hi, Iain. I'd like to add another... I'm guessing it's a girl, that's why I've gone slightly up in my voice there. Hi, Iain. I'd like to add another level to your super brain computer theory, and that is that Walt can somehow travel back in time. So should I bother carrying on with this? Which he does in order to warn people of future tragic events. My reasoning is the episode Abandoned, in which Shannon sees Walt on the island. I believe Walt somehow, by using his connection to the island through the super brain computer, managed to travel back in time to warn Shannon of her untimely demise. He says to her, they're coming and they are close, albeit backwards, warning her of the incoming tailies. He appears again, putting a finger over his mouth to be silent. He's advising Shannon to stay quiet so the others don't hear her, so she won't get shot. However, Shannon fails to understand all this and dies. Do you like it? I don't. You've badly explained one scene in the entire 2-series run. Well done. Paul, go on, you can tell us one apart.
Taxi for Lobotica.
It's not a theory, is it?
No, what I love about things like this is when you say travel back in time and he was trying to do something. It's like, well, he failed miserably. Why didn't he just shout out when he went back in time? Don't move, you're going to get shot. Why be cryptic? Why talk backwards? So, next.
Notty?
I don't know. She used some good buzzwords there, like the computer brain theory.
Super brain computer theory.
Oh, super now?
It's always been a super brain.
Always
been
super brain,
Yeah. Just her mentioning my theory a few times doesn't make it a good theory. She's muffed it up totally there. Let's give these 2 marks out of 10. Theory 1, the Journey to the Centre of the Earth theory by Captain Stew. Notty, marks out of 10, please.
Well, I feel sorry for the guy, so 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10, OK, Paul?
3.
3. I'm going to give it a 2. That brings the average down to 2. Again, it's not, scientific, but it feels right. Theory 2, the time travel theory by Lobotica. Paul?
1.
Is this a woman?
I'm saying it's a woman.
Is that going to sway your voting?
Well, yeah, I'll give it like a sympathy 3.
3. I'll give it a 2. That rounds it down to 2. 2. There we go. The poorest scoring so far. Now, Notty Tin, you wrote an excellent thesis. What does it take to write a good theory on the television series that is Lost?
You need to be a geek, number 1.
Yep.
Me, personally, I couldn't sleep until this was done. It takes determination.
You were saying earlier that you were up at 2 o'clock in the morning. You just couldn't sleep and you had to go.
Yeah, that's right. I had to leave my girlfriend in bed.
Wow.
And go to the computer.
Fantastic.
And get on with it. some of those theories there, they just say something randomly and they don't justify it.
What Lobotka has done here is just explained one scene.
That's
you want
right.
to do the whole series?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Listen, you can see the 5 best theories, the 5 worst at channel4radio.com/forum. You can send yours and make them good to uklost@channel4.com. A very quick recap. If you're new to this, my theory is the super brain computer theory. Copyright Iain Lee. There is a super brain computer. There are potentially 2 of them. Walt is connected to one. He is good. His evil twin, his bad twin, is connected to the other. They are having a kind of game of super mind-computer chess, which involves them manipulating things on the island, manipulating people on the island. Everybody who's on the island has been sold to Hanso by their parents, probably their fathers.
I find your idea arousing. I'd like to add to that, maybe.
Please do. I'd like to.
Well, I really like this idea of Walt being like a Dharma baby or something, and he's like got these psychic powers. Well, there's another baby on the island, Aaron. Yeah, I reckon he's going to develop some sort of psychic ability. We've already been warned in season 1 that he's possibly evil. You know, guard him, don't let anyone else take him away, and all that stuff.
Can I steal that and pretend I came up with it?
Yeah, okay.
Nice one. Thank you.
There's one more little bit to that.
Oh gosh.
Alex, also possibly born on the island.
This is Rousseau's child.
I think she's like a super Walt now. She's got the abilities, and Walt is now her Padawan. And she used her abilities to safely crash the plane. You know, that's how many so many people survived. It's like, oh, there's one going over there, land him in a tree, he'll be all right. You know, that one, missed the rock.
But how many people, like...
Yeah, well, Luke's died. She can't do it all.
It's safely crashed.
Give us some credit.
Safely crashed in 3 pieces with a lot of carnage. Yeah,
I'm going to back out this theory because I don't think Alex has got any superpowers at all.
No?
She's just a girl. Sorry, but we may be proved wrong. This is UK Lost from Channel 4 Radio. In a moment, we bring you a sneak preview of next week's episode. But if you haven't already got your name down for the draw to win the big bunker of exclusive Lost prizes, then here's another chance. In our competition, each week, 3 people will win Lost goodie bags. One of those will go into the draw to win the big bunker of exclusive Lost prizes. This week's question is... Hurley finds a packet of Dharma Initiative crackers, but what type are they? Is it A, prawn, B, chocolate, C, fish? I don't know why I put that silly voice on there, but it just gives it a bit of gravitas. If you know the answer, call 09011 111 080. You can leave your answer, your name and your telephone number. Calls cost 25 pence a minute. Or you can text the word LOST, then your answer to 83188. Each text will cost you 25 pence. That's it for this week. Thanks very much to my panellists, Notty, Tin and Paul. Thank you for coming down.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent stuff. If you think you could do as good a job as my brilliant panellists this week, then please come and join us down our hatch of Lost obsession. You can email us, uklost@channel4.com, and you could be joining me next week and having your say on episode 19. But for now, here's an exclusive sneak preview. In this clip, Locke is finally out of the hatch and Rose hints at a very intriguing secret.
So what are you doing down here, John? Can't remember the last time I saw you out of that hatch.
I'm done with the hatch.
Oh, now you're just frustrated. You'll be out of that splint and running around the island again in no time.
And yet Jack said it'd be at least 4 weeks.
But honey, you and I both know it's not going to take that long.
What does Rose know that we don't? Well, we'll be down the hatch again next week with more UK Lost analysis. Until then, remember that Lost is on Channel 4 Tuesday nights at 10, with the next episode straight after on E4. For more on the Lost experience, you can go to channel4.com/Lost, or to subscribe to the official Lost magazine, visit titanmagazines.com/Lost, and discuss this show on our message board, channel4radio.com/forum. I'm Iain Lee, and remember, the button is bad.
You've been listening to a download from Channel 4. To find more downloads like this, go to channel4radio.com.